Yes. What this brother's doing right here is the most powerful thing right here. This right here.
Publicly with police officers and what may be happening with those events, and ways that you can understand how to secure yourself and your family with having a better knowledge of how to interact with said officers. All right? The history of police is an interesting history in the United States because municipalities grew up in the late 1800s in this country, in the early 1900s, with the said Industrial Revolution. And most of the law enforcement that was carried out by the sheriff's office and deputy sheriffs was transferred. Those powers were transferred to municipalities via police departments. And the police, if we understand the design of cities, are not here to protect and serve. That's a model that's used, but if you don't understand city management and how it's to manage property or residents, then you don't understand the dynamics of how to approach the situation. And this is the biggest problem that we have. We are approaching situations out of infinite levels of ignorance. And we're getting infinite levels of problems that continue to compile upon us. And we need to sit down with the people who actually know. The people who actually know do not go to Columbia University. They don't go to Temple University where I went to school. They're not at Harvard. They're not at Howard. Those are the people who will continue to educate you in the madness. All right? The over-aggressive nature of people and the non-applicability of the factor of peace has more to do with other factors that we are not looking at. All right? We have to look at these factors. If you're a police officer and you eat donuts all day and you smoke cigarettes, you're bound to have a mental problem. Because the level of starch that you're implying and employing into your neural network is going to give you a problem. So how many people are asking what the police are eating? What are they eating that might be causing their over-aggressiveness? Nobody is asking that damn question. Yeah, you're nitrogen brain. You're bound to do something destructive to yourself or to someone else. So my point is, we have the unconventional conversations in this classroom, but we have them in a way that will implore you to study, to look at your community and your family a little bit better to solve your problems. Is Asim here tonight? He's not here tonight? Okay, he's coming, okay. Well, if anyone is interested in getting tickets, because we do have our summit, just called you up, brother, we do have our summit this Saturday. The doors will open at 1 p.m. right here in this building in the National Black Theater. We'll go from 2 to 7 on Saturday, and on Sunday the doors open at 2 p.m. We're going from 3 to 8. You can get those tickets tonight by seeing Brother Enzi. Raise your hand for us, Brother Enzi, at the front, or our roving minister, Brother Asim. Raise your hand, Brother Asim. All right, you can see those brothers if you're interested in getting information about the summit, tickets, etc. I have a pleasure of bringing one of my great brothers up tonight to start this conversation off about the said police. And he's going to really dig into the law and understanding the law, understanding who we are in reference to the law, understanding how we may be outside of the law ourselves, and how we need to change the group of people who we're talking to in reference to attempting to get information about solving the problems and activating them. A lot of your said black leaders stop going to them because you're going to continue to be disappointed. They either don't know what to do or they're part of keeping this program running, unfortunately. And some of them are sincerely our brothers and sisters. But when you start talking about America and solving problems with our people, you have some old issues that have never been resolved, and you have new ones coming up. So if we're going to talk about political science and all these other subjects, we have to have a gauge on what's already written down possibly to protect us that we don't know, because we don't know who we are, politically speaking. And things that we can implore to permanently stop these things that are happening. Everybody who saw anything about Ferguson and Mike Brown knows something is wrong. If a man is 6'4" and an officer is 5'11", and he gets shot in the top of his head, and the district attorney has not issued an indictment, something is wrong. It would have never happened to anyone else. The media is even bringing up old cases to try to show that some said black people have killed white children in the past. What's the guy who was in Greek, New York, Roderick Scott, when he was the neighborhood watchman? He killed this little Italian boy, and so they're bringing these stories up to try to say, see, the media is trying to exploit this to cause a race war. That's not what's happening. And that story has no applicability to a Trayvon Martin or a Mike Brown. You look at a story like that where a brother wakes up in the middle of the night, there are 3 Italian boys breaking the cars on his block, and they happen to be breaking to his car. He tells his wife to call the police, goes down with his protection, he's in his yard, and the guy starts running towards him, so he uses his firearm to stop him, and he gets acquitted. So you're going to see these stories. I'm giving you a heads up because you're going to see the techniques that are used for you to defocus off of the real issues. You see what I'm saying? The real issue is our people don't know what their rights are. Because we don't know who we are. We are salivating off of what Europeans told us, what we are, who we are, and we're stuck in that. And we get the same outcomes. So we need to look at some possible different results. So I started out my work with the brother I'm about to bring up right now, way back with Civil Alert Radio. Anybody here ever heard of Civil Alert Radio? You have to be, yeah, some of y'all got to be, yeah, elders in the community hear about Civil Alert. Huh? Yeah, that's 2003. That's 11, 12 years ago. And he's been doing work in the community for decades on these same subjects. So if y'all want to pull out political science scholars and all these other people, these fake folk, y'all need to go to this brother, Sabir Bey, and get the information that you need to learn about what is going on politically. Unfortunately, in Ferguson, you had a whole bunch of people, some of them with good intent, and then you had the same old Negroes showing up. Telling you to be civilly disobedient and all that. What is that? I heard Sabir on the radio last night, like, what is civil disobedience? Like, what are we talking about? We don't even know how to have the right conversation. So I don't want to jump into his time. I'm going to bring Brother Sabir Bey up so he can talk about this domestic terrorism, not police brutality, that is going on, and explain these things to you in a way that you can understand them based on your own nationality, your own history, your own heritage, in a way that can help the community. So give a warm round of applause for our great brother Sabir Bey. A round of applause. Because I've been watching, I saw this brother grow, like you said, and I don't know who that guy was in that picture up there you had up there, bro. I don't know where that picture came from, but I don't know who that guy was up there, but anyway. But I've seen this guy grow. In 2005, I believe it was, Ali. He was in Detroit. When I had, we can go in. 2005, when I had this brother, Ali, in Detroit, this is the first time we've been together since the year 2005. Wow, was that long? You said decades. Decades. Like, come on, man. 13 years, that's a long time. But again, how many people heard it on the radio show we used to have in Philadelphia called Civil Alert? How many people are familiar with the show I have right now called the Sabir Bey Show? I think everybody should get hit with it, let me tell you. As far as mainstream dealing with radio, I say this on my show, it's about the hottest show. Because number one, I am not restricted with certain things. I've been in radio for over 10 years. I know how media plays and how they manipulate people's minds. And now living in LA, I see it again being out there. And one thing I can say with this media is that consciousness don't sell.
I'm gonna tell y'all that. I'm gonna repeat that again. Consciousness does not sell. I just was on the elevator and I listened to everything, and I'm gonna say some things that might upset some people. Because I tell you, it's like a comic. If you say something, a comic gonna come on the stage and tell you, talk about you. So I tell everybody, if you got something to say to me or argue with me, I do radio. This is the most powerful tool, the mic, and I can control it. All right? I was on the elevator coming up here, and they said, well, are you going to the activist room or the, something they have across the hall? They called us the activist room. This is what they called it. I'm like, wait a minute, activist room? I said, wait, we need to be here. I said, but y'all need some real edutainment, not entertainment. We rock with edutainment. But that's what people always want to have constantly, is edutainment. So my show in LA is called the Sabir. I don't see no one with pens. I don't see pens out. We got pens? We got smartphones too, right? Hey, pick up your smartphone, because I'm gonna give out some information, and use your smartphone for other things than porn. And I say that all the time. Just don't look up porn on there. But smartphone, dumb people. But anyway, but I say this a lot because I've started a lot of things in 2003. I studied under Brother Sabir Bey. You're not familiar with this brother. I studied under Ties in 1998. I took this information because I knew it needed to be global. I said, let's take it to the radio station. Yes, it was opposition at the radio station because I was talking about things that they didn't want y'all to know about. So I would challenge politicians, I would challenge the police, not on my belief systems, this was on what I know. Because I stayed in law libraries for hours, from one law library to another law library to a regular library. And that's how you study, constantly. So before I come out or come on the radio, I'm gonna have facts for you, not my belief system. Okay? And one of the things, everybody got a pen? Okay, we're gonna talk about this for a minute. But also, I gotta give a shout out to this brother, Untitled Chapter. How many people saw that video that he did? That's it? If you watch the Ferguson interview, watch the video, and I'm gonna show you what these brothers are doing. Say that again? The interview he did with CNN. What happens, they have sound bites in media, but what happens when you put a person in front of the media, most of the time they give them a script. All the stuff I watch on TV is scripted. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Most of the time it's scripted. When you have a person that directly come off the street, a person like me, a guy like Karis, or anybody else, that's what you want to get. If you didn't see the interview, watch it. Watch the interview. I was in Detroit one time recently, and they just tried to give me a script on a TV show and tell me to follow this, and it was about immigration. And I said to them, they was talking about Mexicans. And my response was Europeans. And the guy that was interviewing me looked at me twice. Why? Because I wasn't following the script that he gave me, and I said the only immigrants here are Europeans. And I said white people, for those who understand what I'm saying. That's how they play with people. You have to understand how powerful this media is. We must back real, I don't even want to say conscious media. We must back real media. What this brother is doing, and I've watched a lot of people for years do these study groups. I have to commend Brother Ali. I'm not even gonna lie. I have to commend this brother for not giving up, no matter how many times people came at him, no matter how many times people came at me, or many of us that's doing this. We never back down because we stand for the truth. I'm gonna tell you, there's many times, I know you've probably seen stuff on YouTube. We call them cats YouTube gangsters. That's all they are. But they would never come into a room like this and sit with us. Because this is what we do. We don't get paid $80,000 to give this information to y'all. So I would say back the brothers like that is putting in the real work. Alright? And I always say invest, 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 invest in yourself. Alright? Always invest in yourself. There's a newspaper that brother have out before I even get into these things. How many people are familiar with this paper? I would suggest you get this newspaper. Those that is Moors that's in this room know what at least the most powerful tool in our hands is the press. So where's your press at? I'll wait. Alright? Where's the press? And we're not talking about blog talk radio. That's not really press. You're only talking preaching to the choir. It's on the back table back there. The sister has it. And then this newspaper, this brother Abdullah Bey. And actually we do advertising and sponsors. We do advertising and sponsors on my show. We need your support for the show. But the paper will break down a lot of things in here for y'all. Now, the top part here is an old one, talking about the 4th of July. The new one that's getting ready to come out in 2 weeks is going to be based on Illuminati. Why we want to do this? Because we need to gravitate and get the young people involved in this. Because if you don't have the youth involved in this, because they're the soldiers. I'm keeping it 100. They're the soldiers. We have to get the youth involved to get them over to even explain what we're talking about. And they do not want to hear this consciousness. I've been in about 5 or 6 states within 2 weeks. And everywhere I go straight to the hood and I talk to them. Not trying to force you to believe anything I'm saying, because that's not my job. I'm a teacher. And our job is to teach. And I don't down them, belittle them, anything. Because the one who condemns is the one who loses. So I'm not here to condemn any of them. But when we talk, I have to relate to them on where they're at. We have to do this. If we use hip-hop, and I am a member of the Temple of Hip-Hop, if we use hip-hop, we have to get to them through hip-hop. And then they'll start listening to what we're saying. Alright? Also, like I said, pull out your pens and pads. I heard a lot of people talking recently, alright, about traffic courts, going to courts. It was funny because it bringing back memories in my head. How many times I got locked up, it was crazy. But I stopped it and I took my voice to the radio. I said, I can't keep going to jail. Turn around, everybody's supposed to be there for you, wasn't there. So I was like, forget it, I'm gonna take it to the airwaves. So I was constantly locked up, challenging the jurisdiction. I said, wait a minute, the fight is not in the courtroom. It's not in the courtroom. The media is where your fight is at. I just did a lecture with Ramona Africa and Pam Africa. How many people are familiar with the MOVE organization? Everybody should be familiar with the MOVE organization in this room. The bombing of 1985 in Philadelphia, where I'm from. Everybody should be familiar with them. I flew in from California just to be on a panel discussion with, I believe it was 3 or 4 attorneys. Art Maddox, I know you're familiar with him, he was there. An attorney from Philadelphia, Michael Core, which he got off the stage, he left, and he saw me get on the stage. Because we was exposing all of them. All of them. We sat with the MOVE organization. Also, I just left the Gods of the Earth around the corner. I was with the Nation of Islam, because we're talking about unity. Because if we were all together as one, the killings that you see is going on will not happen. So hopefully this unity thing will actually work with all of us coming together as one. And this is why I said I have to do this with Ali Muhammad before I get back out to the West Coast and share some information for all of y'all. All right? Also, again, I said I want to share this with people. How many people have a motor vehicle law book? And I heard people here talking about that of New York. New York. That's it. So what are we coming to classes for? Why are we in the classes? This is what I'm saying again. We wait on one person to do this work. Say it again. We wait on one person to do this instead of you investing in yourself. We didn't spend thousands of dollars on books. You spend at least $500 on something. The book is only about $80. If you don't see that and invest in that, why am I even talking and wasting my breath? This is what I'm trying to do. The book is only $80. It's the motor vehicle law book. In every state, they have their book. I know Jersey's is $39. Pennsylvania's is $75. If you're dealing with a court case, buy the book. I just bought California's motor vehicle law book. Every state you enter into, understand and overstand the statutes of that particular state dealing with motor vehicle law. All right? I see the brother over here Googling, but that's good. Also, how many people are familiar with the Home Rule Charters? Home Rule Charter. Every city has it. Home, R-U-L-E, Charter. The Home Rule Charter will give you the boundaries of the local municipal police, which I heard Brother Ali talk about earlier. It would tell you their duties, their jobs. Every city has it. It should be in the municipal building here. I don't know where's that in New York, but I know in Philadelphia it's on 15th Street, 15th and Market. It's only $13. Do your homework. Don't get upset. Okay? This is how you combat them. This is what I was sharing with people on the radio, that the people that look like with dress suits and ties on didn't want y'all to know anything about. I hear this a lot. Sabir, be careful what you talk about. You shouldn't say this, you shouldn't say that. I said that I was going to say this yesterday. A Moorish brother said to me, Sabir, you should be careful what you say if you love the Prophet. This is what he said to me. don't make no agitated speeches. I asked them, what was the agitated speech that I made about, because they saw a piece on Facebook when I said, do unto others what you have others do unto you. If we started doing that to them, what would you think would happen? It would stop. He told me that was an agitated speech. No, it's me, because you can't control me. Okay, this is what I said that when I told him I was going to talk about him when I got here. I am not there. We are a nation of people. Nations protect their nation. Am I right or wrong? Right. All right, so we don't have to ask anything or anybody to do anything. So what I would share with him is that if we are a nation, not a religious institution, I don't rock with that, a nation. You protect your nation, your women and your children, am I right? All right then, so this is all I was saying to him. Don't come to me with the dogma, I'm not following that. I don't do that. And they tell me this, and I said, listen, if I survive 5 bullets, I don't care what else you can do to me. Been there, done that with this. My job is to teach the people, and this is why I love Brother Ali, because he has that heart and that courage to do this. He has it. But we got to get the rest of the people involved in this. You follow me? You follow me? You really follow me? Okay. So, domestic terrorism. I was talking about what happened with the brother. How many people know there is a difference between the terrorism and brutality? Terrorism and brutality. There's a difference. We talked about it earlier. I heard Brother Ali talk about the so-called black leaders. Most of the time, or all the time, you hear them speak about what? Brutality, right? Think about it for a minute. Let it marinate for a minute. What do they tell them after they do that? They get sit there behind the desk and do what? They get paid leave, don't they? Right?
They do.
Think about it for a minute. Now let's talk about terrorism, right? If I talk about there's a bomb in a building, what would happen to me? If I'm verbally saying that. They arrested me, right? Get charged, right? Title 18. I'm going to give you the definition of it. Can I get a volunteer real quick? Anybody?
I'll be a volunteer.
You'll be one?
Yeah.
Come on up here for a minute.
All right.
I'm going to show you something, because I don't want you to take my word for it, but I'm telling you, I want you to research this information. And this is what I said with Brother Ali heard me last night on WRD in Philadelphia. I said that I'm going to talk about the difference between terrorism, and this is what I want people to know. There is a difference between terroristic threats. Right here, brother. Right? You sure you agree? Don't do no Mayweather on me, brother. Let me stop that. But terrorism, real quick, for everybody.
Yeah. Okay. The term domestic terrorism means activities that improve acts dangerous for human life that are a violation of the criminal laws of the United States of any state.
Okay, now you heard it, right? You heard that? You got it, right? You got it? Okay, let me show you something now. Read that again for him.
The term domestic terrorism means activities that involve acts dangerous to human life that are a violation of the criminal laws of the United States of any states.
Did you get it? You get it, right? Now I'm going to give you what they show y'all, brutality. And I want y'all to peep the difference.
The quality of being brutal, cruelty, savagery, a brutal act for practice.
You see the difference? Did y'all see the difference? Did y'all catch the difference? One is a crime, right? One is not. So you need to ask the politicians why are they using brutality instead of criminal, the terroristic threats. What happens, one is harming human life, which is under the Constitution, you can be prosecuted under that. You follow me? Title 18, Section 2331 of the United States Codes.
Read that one more time.
What they want to say? You want to read it again? Which one? Brutality?
Title 18.
Brutality.
Title 18.
Title 18 of the United States Codes. You can just go ahead. Just mark a word. The United States Codes. $23.31. That's the section you can find it. Now, I didn't go to law school, so I know that much. I know the difference between brutality and terrorism. If we started dealing with these issues as a nation of people and protecting your people, the reason why these things happen, because number one, you have no nationality. This is why these things are happening. And I'm gonna say this, and I always clarify when I'm speaking, because Moors also think I'm against something. I'm with you more than I'm against you. The temple is not a nation. I'm gonna repeat that again, it's not a nation. The nation is out here in the streets every day. Rather you're in the 5%, Christian church, Jehovah church, no matter where you at, that's just your creed, but we all the same people. This is how it has to be set up. But if we come together and not force a creed on the individual and talk about the nationality of our people and come together as one. This is why these things are happening constantly. And I'm always coming behind and battling these people, trying to wake our people up. Title 18, terroristic threats. It ain't about hating anybody. It's about doing what is right. So this is why I do these things for everyone. And I want to take any questions also if you want to. Before I even get there, how many people are familiar with the castle doctrine? Anybody's familiar with the castle doctrine? Okay, let's make it a little better. Stand your ground. You're familiar with that one though, right? You're familiar with that one, right? Let me share these two differences between that. The castle doctrine is a common law, which means inside your apartment complex, like where I live at, that would be my home, even if I'm in my parking lot. That's my home. That's what the castle doctrine means, and I can do what I want to do to you in there. If someone walk in the door, this is our home. We can beat him the hell up and then throw him out. But this is our home. The castle doctrine is what they use on Trayvon Martin. But they tell the ignorant people that it was called stand your ground, which is a statutory thing. You see the difference? See the manipulation of the media. So this is why Zimmerman walked. You don't get it? Because we don't have real people giving you all this information. We're looking for a devil wearing Prada. We're looking for somebody to look nice, talk nice. Those are the ones they put in front of the media. I can tell you the most powerful tool in our hands is the press. We must back real press, real media. And it's a hard job when you by yourself. It is a very hard job. So that's why I always say I commend brothers like Ali, Brother Africa Benavada, a whole lot of host of brothers and sisters that actually put this work out for y'all. But we need your help. Also, not just to look at us and say, oh, they're nice looking guys. They sound smart, they're good. Back us what we're doing. Because it's not easy. I'll take any questions real quick. If anybody have any questions. Any of them, I'm up here right now.
All right, the difference between...
Could you stand up, brother?
The difference between domestic terrorism...
I don't even know you. What's your name? Where you from?
Master, from right here.
Okay, I'm just checking.
The difference between domestic terrorism and domestic violence, or is that the same thing?
It's basically the same thing.
It's the same
Domestic means local. That's all it really means. Local. When I say the domestic terrorism, they also have international terrorism, which we keep looking at people overseas with long beards like you, calling them a terrorist. Not realizing the police department is a terrorist group. How many people do that? They are gang. They're a local gang.
Yes, they really
you know
are.
that. They're a local gang.
I believe that.
Obama has a law, an executive order. Let me put it out this way. Obama has an executive order out. It's called bullying, right? Something like that, right? It has some type of executive order that you can't bully nobody in schools, right? But the biggest bullies are the police.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See how it go?
I agree.
When you understand, this is why I tell people to get these law books. Not just Black's Law, we're not even talking about that. Black's Law is my new. If I'm talking about law, I'm calling Corpus Juris Secunda. Words and phrases. American Jurisprudence. Read those books. Visit a law library and read those books. Listen. Bullying, the police are when they walk up to a car, people don't realize that. That's a terroristic act. Did you know that? Did you know that? Yes, it's a terroristic act. I just said earlier, the police department is municipal security guards. That's all they are. But what happens, people don't understand that they are local municipal guards. I don't care what city you're in. They fall under the home rule charter of every state. And every state has those books. That's all you got to do is ask your city council person. They're supposed to come out once a month and teach y'all this stuff. That's not my job. That's what they get paid for. Don't y'all vote for them? That's their job to be here teaching y'all this. All right? When they come up to your car, number one, and take your car. I heard somebody earlier. I like to listen real good because you learn. Due process means, one, a jury of your peers. Two, you have to have, actually you have to wait, basically, the due process laws. You can't just take someone's stuff. You have to be a jury of your peers. People don't understand what the due process law is about. They can't do the stuff that they're doing because the people are in a sleeping stage that they think they're enforcing laws, because now you have the radio and TV telling you what the law really is. This is what law is. Or we have drivers and passengers. No one questions drivers and passengers. All these little things they play, and they pay millions of dollars to keep you confused. This is what is happening. It's all based on the media. So when you see a cop, well, let me stop calling them policy enforcers out here, you're thinking they're law because you was taught that as you was growing up. They cannot take your property without due process. You got to understand their job so you can combat them. It always don't have to be confrontational when you deal with these people. Just deal with the law. That's it. Go ahead. Yeah, you have a question?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, a question. I want people to ask questions.
Dealing with adjudication, right? And when you're dealing with due process, again, when you're dealing with adjudication and when you're dealing with due process of law, I understand that when you're dealing with a due process of law, you're dealing with a 14th Amendment citizen and the right to actually be able to, meaning you had to have a case holding on whatever particular rights that they say you have privilege to. So when you do an adjudication on a level of an indigenous sovereign, how does that apply now? Because you're not claiming 14th Amendment status where you be a subject citizen, you're claiming aboriginal political status, well, indigenous political status. So how does that play into your adjudication process?
Okay, let me explain this to you real quick. And I don't see no constitutions in no one's hands. Why not? Why don't we have constitutions in our hand? Is this a feel-good session? We're supposed to have the U.S. Constitution, the state constitution, always with you. Study it. Most people don't know the Constitution. You have to study the Constitution. This is why I say again, there is a lot of weight on one person. Everybody has to get involved in this. Everyone has to be involved. Everyone's supposed to have a Constitution of the United States and a Constitution of the state. When I hear people talk about adjudication, you got three things: status, jurisdiction, adjudication. I got that. Sometimes it may work in one court, it may not work in another court. The job is to understand what court you're in. I hear more say that there's Article 3 courts. There's two types of Article 3 courts. People don't understand these things. So the fight is, I would say sit back, relax for a minute, study this stuff before you go up against stuff, because you're dealing with a person who's been doing this for 40 years. And you have to be equipped to challenge them. Understanding what adjudication means. The indigenous piece is what's important to our people. We have to educate our people what that means. Most of us don't know because we like to be entertained. See what I'm saying? I know this brother been doing his work for a minute, and I'm like, after 4 or 5 years he's been doing this, you're still asking these simple questions of the difference between indigenous and adjudication. Our job is to deal with this media and get our youth. I don't see really no youth in this room right now. I don't see them. Somebody give me something as a killer. I got you, brother. In reverse, Benjamin Buttons. Can I get some? Can I get a nap with somebody somewhere? Because I'm like, these lights are burning me up. Me up. But yes, but again, the adjudication piece. You got to understand these court systems. I tell people all the time, go in the courtrooms, right? Sit there and learn how it works before you go up against this beast. Get up there. Many times I've been locked up. I'm gonna tell you this. It wasn't. I heard somebody say 30 days. No, they do 6 months, 28 days in Philadelphia. Okay, 6 months, 28 days. I know because I was in there for 3 months. Trust me. So when people say these things, I don't like to give out false information to anybody because I don't want nobody locked up. I don't give them no paperwork because I don't want them locked up because I want you to study. This is why I tell people, look up the information that I'm giving you. Look up this information so you can arm yourself before you go up in. I know you want to get out of the system real quick, but until we start creating and controlling our own, that's the only way it's going to work. I say just put on your condom and know how to rock with it. Know how the system works.
Everything is at the back here.
Until we control our own. Any other questions real quick? Sati, she was there. That's what my brothers and sisters. Let's go on.
My question is, you mentioned the lack of youth in the audience, and I've been noticing that a lot, like with these events that go on. And I was wondering if you had any ideas or strategies that you found work with getting the youth more involved.
Hip hop. That's number one. I did a lecture in Detroit over 5. Repeat that again. Repeat that again, Sati. Could you come up here real quick? This is important. Come here for a minute. Real quick.
Ways to get the youth more
She
involved.
wanted ways to get the youth more involved. That's what she asked, you got it? And what I said, when I did the lecture in Detroit, we had over 500 youth in the room in Detroit. It was called J. Dilla Day. That's what I was there for. And we had from ages 7 to 15 standing there. And how I got them is to show them what this is right here. The circle, which is a cipher in hip hop. This is how you get them. In hip hop, we call it a cipher or a circle, which is church. And the MC was in the middle, was the master of ceremony, which I am right here. And when I told them that, that's when they started getting down with that. Then I brought the history into it with them. That's how you get the youth to come in. But if we're talking about this right here, look at the room right now. To go over across the hall and see the room in there. And watch what you see over there. This is why I said we don't need entertainment, edutainment. Education and entertainment at the exact same time to reach the youth. This is why these people, when it's over and they put out millions of dollars in the media to keep our people distracted. The biggest thing right now, they talking about Nicki Minaj and this other girl named Iggy. This is what's going on. I know y'all are older. I mean, I know, but I'm a hip hop head. But this is what they're looking at right now. Seriously, this is the biggest thing. So now, for me doing radio, I can go in between those things and actually show them and bring them out. This is what we have to do. But that's how we got to get the younger in. Ali, I want to do something with the youth one day, but we got to do that to get them in here. But we have to use hip hop to do it. And I don't think Africa Bambaataa, because BAM does an anniversary every year. 40 years of hip hop and 41 years of Zulu Nation to bring the minds together in one room. I believe Brother Ali will be speaking to myself, but we have to have the youth to come in, and there's millions of people coming off from all over the world to come to this event every year in November. But this is how we have to relate to our people, not shutting them away. The youth don't want to hear what we're talking about. You follow me? So when we hear these things on the radio and TV, I just heard something in the store, and I said, this is the cause of the problem, brother. But I understand payola. They had a song going. And I said, that's the problem. But I understand payola, and I don't have enough money to pay them, so I shut up. That's how I am. But I'm going to address it. You follow me? So, this is what we have to do. We have to get the youth involved in this program. Now imagine just getting them on this page that we're on. That's the army right there. Just imagine us getting them this information. Man, any more questions? Don't be afraid. Yes, bro.
Yeah, I wanna.
Can you speak up, bro? Sure. Ali, do we have a mic somewhere?
You don't have a second.
Yeah, what I want to say is that speaking about the youth, I'm a young man myself. I'm not that old. You see, also a youth in the building. But I think the problem with the youth, why the youth is not really focused on us, is because when they look at the leadership, a lot of the leaders don't even get along. A lot of the leaders don't do things together. It's like in my block, there's 3-4 churches, but none of those preachers are getting together to say, what are we doing for the community? So the youth is looking at the leadership, and they see that the leadership is not in harmony, and therefore they're not gonna go, because they're looking for love, and even though they might get something destructive, because the leadership is not in harmony, they're gonna go for what's destructive because it appears more in unity with itself, even though it's destructive, even though it's doing
It's greed.
Right. So I think it has to do with the leaders. The leaders have to really get I would say to really get rid of the ego and see the bigger picture, because if we're not saving the youth, like you're saying, we're not doing anything. So I think it's really on
Yes, yes. And that's the young brother saying this. Now let me share this with you. One of my teachers, John Henry Clark, said, if a person said that, and everybody's not a leader. John Henry Clark said, if someone said that they're a leader, ask them a question. Where did you get the message from? Who did you get it from, and who would you take it to? Where did you get the message from to deliver that message to be a leader? Everybody's not a leader. This is why, and I said again earlier, is greed. Everything is based on greed with the churches and most of the temples, because they can't even get themselves together. I tell Moors all the time, get yourself together. You should talk to the other temples, and y'all should sit down at a table and fix this problem. This is why I make it my business to travel. People don't pay me sometimes to go out and speak. I go put my own money up to go out and make this thing work and unify with our people. Before I started, I said I spoke with the gods of the earth. I was just there. I was sitting with the MOVE organization, because I do work with Pan in Africa. I am going to work with ISIS. I am going to work with the Moorish Science Temple of America. I am going to work with the Zulu, because I am in the Zulu nation. So all of those components has to come together as one. You know how powerful that is? This is why they don't want hip-hop to unite. Do you understand this? They know how powerful this information is if we came together as one. But it's going to happen. Noble Drew Ali, if you're not familiar, see, it's going to be the third and fourth generation that's coming with their eyes wide open. We are the third and fourth generation from 1920. Do the math. So it's not going to come out of that particular building. It's going to come out with brothers like Ali, Brother Bam, other organizations coming together as one. That's how this thing is going to work. And we speak to the youth. I just left home in Philadelphia, what they call my hood. But I'm sitting here talking to the brothers that we used to go at it back and forth in the streets. But we have to show them. These cats want to see you. They want to see you, not just want to scream. This is why it's important for us to be in the streets every single day, talking to these youth, talking to them. They're looking for something. That's what happened over there in St. Louis. They don't see no real leaders out here. They don't see that. They see them on TV. This is why they told Jesse Al Sharpton to leave. But the media puts them up there because they're the pawns. They're going to follow the rules. They're going to mislead people. They would never have me or Brother Ali or anyone else speaking on this information. That's why I respect what Brother Talib Kweli did. Highly what he did. Yes?
There are three different things recently that I saw that happened in the media that I was really concerned about. One being the Trayvon Martin situation. I don't understand how, if you call the police and tell them you're about to pursue somebody and they say don't pursue, and you pursue and kill them, it just doesn't work in my psyche to understand that. But secondly, the young lady that was down in Florida that shot 2 shots in the air, and she got 20 years in prison.
Black codes.
And then you have the young lady that sent her child to a different district to go to school, and she got 10 to 20 years in prison. And I'm sitting there like, what can we do? And when I say what can we do, because my thing is, although those things happen, is there anything that we can do to change that? But then two, moving forward, if that happened to them, we know it's going to happen again. So what do we do to galvanize, come together? I know like one particular post I saw on Facebook is calling a blackout on the 1st of September for everybody to, and it's just, you know, to show them economically, hey, we do matter, but then that doesn't really do anything. It doesn't solve anything, but it's a start. So my question is, what do we do at that particular point to let the youth know that we're not powerless, because that's what it shows them, is that we're powerless if no one steps to the front, no one does anything, and no one helps. So
let me say this, right? Honestly, they say a blackout, right? That may happen with the conscious people, they may happen with the average person. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's not going down. It ain't happening. It may happen with the consciousness, but it's not. I tell people to study. When I talk to people, when they told me what was going down in St. Louis, and they said they burning up their own community, I said, number one, we gotta understand what the community is. If you ever been in, where the Jews live at out here?
Crown Heights.
Crown Heights, right? You ain't gonna see us out there trying to have stores, are you? It ain't gonna happen. That's a community. They got their police force, they got their stores. That's a community. Now look at ours for a minute.
We live in the hood.
We got everybody else in there. So when we say that we're tearing down our community, that's not our communities. I say let it burn. Teach them to be independent. But you got to have the right people in there. Because they're just captive, they caught in that neighborhood. It's not that they want to tear down, it's not theirs. It's basic. The children, they're not stupid. But brother, we need to study. We have to study the right thing. And I said I was going to start a read a real book challenge. Instead of a water challenge. I said, let's read a real book challenge. Not a fairy tale book, but we got to get this information out to people. They have to have the right avenues, and this is one of the places that they can come get this information at. But yes, brother, we have to study. We have to study, but also, again, I'm not with the blackout thing. I'm not with it. It's a great idea, but if we're going to black out, we should have them in ISIS classroom. Let's do that. That sound good? Yes, sir. Can we put that out there to the youth? Can we get that out there? Okay, that's what's up. So we get them in the ISIS classes, right? We get them here, right?
Philly.
In Philly? I'm in Philly too. Do it in Philly, but you got Black and Nobel. Do it in Philly. Get it there too, but we have to get it done. But again, we have to study people. You have to have the tools. Get the books, inform yourself, empower yourself. That's the only way you're going to beat these people. I heard somebody saying, if we educate ourselves, we can do better. Educated how? Let's be realistic with this. Any more questions real quick? Yes, brother. Yeah,
I know. One quick question before we leave. If you could you explain, maybe break down in the simplest form, municipality? Because you mentioned municipality, but maybe, you know what I'm saying, for the people, if you could break it down so that we can know how to engage in suit with these municipalities and entities.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. Do you have a law dictionary?
Yeah.
Everybody have a law dictionary in this room? Yeah. Everybody got one, right? You have municipality, municipal corporations. Every local city is a municipality. Every local city, I'll repeat that again, is a municipality. Everyone has it. You have, most of your universities are municipalities, or the universities, they have their own police force. They have their own stores. It is a district area. Municipalities come out of D.C. That's what it is, the District of Columbia. All municipalities, even though it's not in D.C., they extended it. And actually, I think Brother Shakim had a paper called the zip code trick. What happened, they created they have a zoning. When you're using, many people here may be older. They used to use the last two numbers. They didn't never use a 191 or 411. They used to use the last two numbers. How many people remember that? Last two numbers. Oh yeah, you studied it. But that was actually the original. But when they started using the 191, they created the District of Columbia. And that's when they talk about passing the buck. How many people familiar with the Buck Act? Look these things up. The Buck Act is when they passed the buck on to the people and they created these fictional zones. When you look at municipalities, they all work within inside D.C., but not necessarily in D.C. They extended them over here. And that's a violation of law. But what happens, they can only do it under legislative law, not constitutional law. You're following me? Yeah. Okay, so this is why I tell people, look up the municipality. Municipal laws creates corporations. Corporations also create the people that's in that area. So when you're using that zip code, they have jurisdiction over everything that's in that city. That's the water department, that's the trash, that's the people that live within that territorial area, and you vote for it. It's very simple. It is very simple. This is where municipalities come from. They are not the law, they are municipal, and that's why I said policy enforcers. They're not law enforcement officers. And I wish people stop saying that. They do not enforce the law. Y'all supposed to enforce the law. Once you know the law, you are the law enforcers, right here in this room. But you must first know the law. Not pretend to know the law, but know the law. There you go, big. Yes, brother. I didn't know that. Any other questions? I know I'm not in the room, but nobody's got any questions. Yeah. Go ahead, brother.
How would you suggest the average hamburger chicken family to be able to educate their children on how to approach a gang member, what we call police, or handle themselves in that situation? Wouldn't we have to first get those parents and re-educate them?
So how do we get to what?
I just said, how could we get to those youth who have parents sitting at home eating hamburgers and chicken, just sending the children out. They may get Moore's Law and go through their thing, but still in the background, you have all that going on. How would we work that?
Listen, I keep going back to this again. I don't think y'all understand when I say the media. The media is the most powerfulest tool on the planet. The media. What happens, you have children raising children now. You have children raising children. But what happened as right, they're watching BET, VH1, these reality shows that y'all see out here right now, Atlanta Housewives, Love It, whatever they call hip-hop, but it's not hip-hop. You know, I call it something else, but this is where they at. But the thing is that I'm still working, brother, like children, trying to, like, how can I get there? Living in LA, I try to come up with different formats on how we can get this information. I'm just throw this out there real quick. I was working on a set with the brother that does this film, TV series called Love That Girl. I don't know if y'all familiar with it. Kyle Bentley, he did the Martin Show. And I threw some stuff at this brother, and I could tell how he was scared when I said it to him. I said, brother, can we have some law books and this book and that sitting right there? He said, nah, brother, people don't want to hear that. That's exactly what he said to me. But I said, brother, it's your job to do this. He said, no, that's not my job. My job is to do this. You see what I'm saying? People don't understand how hard it is, but yet they would endorse grown women fighting on TV. You follow me? This is what they want. But I'm still trying to figure that one out, as right. How do we get it done? But we need the people support to make that work. Yeah, but you can, brother, but let me tell you something. You can, but that's going to turn somebody away. They don't want to hear this. I'm going to tell you that they're going to turn it away. That's how it is. But my thing is, I want to start something with the youth, so the youth can go home and teach the parent. Yes, brother.
I was going to say a solution could be to find media outlets like yourself or the one that I run and tell the children that they have to watch those, or ask them to watch it. You know what I mean? It could start with that.
Yes. What this brother's doing right here is the most powerful thing right here. This right here. I was talking to a brother by the name of Mel Jackson. He said, you can create your own film with just 2 or 3 cameras. This is what he said to me. But now we have to get people to actually finance at least something to travel and come get people. Because if a person not getting paid, they're not going to do it. I'm going to tell you that. This is real. This is real. But we have to get dedicated people to actually put the clean glass of water beside the dirty glass of water, like Elijah said. You don't have to condemn the other one. Just put the clean glass up. We got to get the people to support it. So it's a fight. It's a real big fight. But I'm not stopping. Obviously, it's going to happen. Any other question?
You're right, though, brother. I used to teach, when I was a Christian minister, I used to teach in Sunday school. And the children were the easiest to teach. It was really hard to even deal with adults. And they finally kicked me out of there, but I mean, you know, it was easy to teach them.
Listen, this is why they have to get our youth while they're young. All right? They get them while they're young so they can be obedient when they get older. This is how it works. They have to get them while they're very young. And this is why they're going to have to applaud this brother for what he does. I've seen him raise his children. I'm not even lying. I've seen his children. I'm just like, wait a minute, hold up. But this as an example. You follow me? You watch people as an example. So what happens? We have to back that. We have to be there for them. And take this message to every last one of these people. I mean, I know y'all know about 10 or 20 people. I know y'all know attorneys. I know you know politicians. I know you know cops. They should have been in this room. They should have been here. I wish somebody would have grabbed a couple of cops off the street and told them to sit in here and ask them why they know what they're doing.
Yeah, no doubt.
You follow me? I wish they would have did that. But we gotta inform, and we gotta actually protect ourselves, man. I'm telling you, because this stuff is insane that is happening right now. It's only maybe probably 5 of us probably that's really dedicated to putting this information out with no support there. That's a lot, y'all. That's a lot. I'm gonna tell you, that's a lot of work. So this is why I said I was gonna stop this giving lectures, and I want to inform people of what they can get. If you want that, then you hire me for that. But I do the radio show, so that's my give back to the public. But the public has to support it also. The message out globally, we need advertising and sponsorship. Look, let's get it out there. They don't even, I just got a phone call from LA. He trying to get rid of me now. I'm dead serious. But I won't give up because my advertising sponsors don't come from nobody else. You follow me? So I understand how the game is being played. So we have to keep this line of communication out. I want to get with more brothers who has cameras. We're working on a documentary right now called Domestic Terrorism. Terrorism, the biggest bully. That's going to be the documentary. Yes.
I think also, brother, it's kind of like a question and a statement at the same time. One of the things I believe we're going to have to really, really start teaching everybody, and that is mind control. I mean, if he had orders not to do things, and he just flips out, color red or whatever. I mean, you got a lot of mind control going on.
Well, they use media for mind control, right? I can tell you stuff that they do that y'all see on TV that I know that they're teaching y'all, showing y'all. When you're in the midst of this and you see this, and I don't participate in it, but I'm watching it, then I sit here and I be like, I hate watching TV now because I see what they're doing to people. You follow me? You see it. So I lived it. So I understand the mind control. But what happens is that they put millions of dollars behind this. Millions of dollars. The billboards you see outside, it's like one man owns every billboard that you see. They pay $50,000 a month for it. You know he must got some money. Those Clear Channel boards that you see, they pay $50,000 a month to one man. That's some money right there. Imagine what we can do for $50,000, Ali. Nobody would have to pay to go to the United Nations. We already have money for y'all. You follow me? That's all I'm saying. So we have to put our money where our mouth is. That's it. I don't care what denomination that you in. I don't care if you're Pan-African. I don't care if you're nation. I don't care if you're 5%, Zulu. We better start coming together. Yes.
Don't you think also everything is starting from home?
I can't hear you.
Don't you think also everything is starting from home? Exactly.
Yes.
So everything starts home. You know, everything starts home.
Exactly.
You know, and also there's books, there's DVDs. You know, and sometimes people say, well, I used to be a child here. I used to go every after school. My parents don't know, but I was going sitting in a Black Panther and listen to the class. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
So they don't.
Most people from the islands are more cultural than a lot of our people. We have a lot of distractions up here. We have a lot of distractions, and the distractions is the media. That's the distraction. The distraction is the sports. They're the distractions with us.
So you know what I'm
yes, brother.
Yeah, I think one of the main solutions is, and I leave science, you probably understand this, we got to evolve as human beings. Like the Negro condition that we was put in is not really like natural. And I think the forces of nature is working to like remove that. That's why I think Elijah Muhammad came to get us, out of that Negro condition, the system that was set up, and other, great ones that came. Even Amos Wilson said that once we change, they're going to change. So I think our main objective should be evolving as human beings from the condition that we was put in.
Right. And I got to say this because everybody mentions everyone else, but they never mention Noble Drawley. I got to stop. People do this, but you got to study with Noble Drawley.
Yeah, I said that.
Okay, because everybody said it, and I sometimes I get mad. I say, "Where's Noble Drawley's picture at?" You can't forget this man right here. Okay, this man did something that in the 1920s that most people wasn't even doing at that time frame. In 1913s, okay? So we can never forget him. But this again, how they distort our history. In school, they know nothing about Noble Drawley. They don't teach anything. They just teach he was a religious man. That's about it. Nothing else. And some people carry it over as a religious man. Go ahead, sister. Could you stand up, please? We can't hear you.
Okay, no. Can you just explain like what you discussed earlier about maybe some books that you think everyone should read and recommend,
I was going to do that. Thank you.
Yep.
There's a book called 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro, which how many people are familiar with it? J.A. Rogers. Everybody should have that book. It's only like 7 hours. J.A. Rogers is a hell of a history book, and I said I wanted to do a documentary surrounding J.A. Rogers' book, 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro, but there's a lot of stuff that's in there. So it's 100, not belief system, facts. But they don't teach that in school. Another one is called Nature Knows No Color Line by J.A. Rogers. You have Ancient and Modern Brits. How many people are familiar with that book? About the original Brits was us. Did you know that? In the book, it speaks about the Lenape Africans that was in America before Columbus got here. It's called The African Tribe called the Lenape. This book was written in 1886. Ancient and modern Brits. Because we were the original Brits. And how the European did it again in Hollywood, they created a cartoon behind it. You know the cartoon?
Flintstones?
Pride and Brutus.
Pride and Brutus.
We were the original Brits. We were the Boots. Papa was the Englishman. Olive was the sister. Our complexion is olive, not black. You have a dark olive and a light hue. Olive was the sister, so they always were fighting over the woman. So whoever impregnates that woman and harvests the land. They tell you all day long. Go to Lafayette and Prince Diana, just watch the storyline. They called him a sand nigga. They couldn't allow that to happen. But they put it in front of your face. Here it is. There it go right there. But we're going to make it a fairy tale. You're not going to believe it. But get the book and you're going to read it. Ancient and Modern Brits by David McRitchie. 1886 the book was written. Those are history books. If you want to give something for Black History Month, give those books out for a gift. Yes.
First one you mentioned.
First volume, which 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro, J.A. Rogers. It's a really, I just seen a brother on 125th Street selling them. They about $8. He's there at the subway. $8. Actually, could you look in my bag real quick? I can show you what it looked like. But the book speaks about what we were called before the 1800s. And then the book, it speaks about Ethiopians and Moors, what were called before the 1500s. Ethiopians and Moors, we were called before the 1500s, it says it there. So why aren't they teaching this in school? All right, the other book is called, yes.
The last book that you said?
Yes.
The very last book.
What was the last book you said?
Nature Knows No Color Line. I have both of them here. These are the books. All his books, you're right, all his books are good. Yes, sir. All his books are good. Yes, brother.
Even though you recommended those books, I read a lot of books, right? And they said maybe no color lines. And they talk about Negro. And they talk about, but this is the book that tells you who you really are. So this is the first book we should start to promote.
Oh, most definitely. That book's good. But see, this is our modern book right here.
Right.
This is our modern book. I didn't even know that was behind me because that blew some people. Actually, this got some people mad when I took this back to LA. And I didn't get it.
Yeah, because the first thing addressing us as a people, because in that book I learned that before in other studies it showed that Negro mean black in Latin, and then Niger, nigger, but both of them mean slave. So even somebody calling you a Negro, they're calling you a slave. You understand? And even though so there's a lot of misnomers, so even though we're going to read those books, we have to know who we are.
Exactly.
First.
That's why we're here, and that's why you're here. That's why we're here. So we need to have, again, the youth here, and again, I have to thank Ali for doing this and never give it up. I got to applaud you. Can everybody get this brother applause? Because this brother can never give up. And anytime he needs me, I'm always here. He always welcome to the show anytime he want to come on the show and put it on. Because when he got, what is that, terrorized by the police? I told him to call the radio station. They said, but Sabir, why don't you have it on the radio? Because I can. I'm free.
Right.
These are the, you don't understand the flash, the backlash you get when you get off the air. Right. This is what you go through because you're not talking the norm. Right. This is what happens in radio. People thinking, okay, no, it's more than that. This is why most people in radio are not going to talk about certain things. Because they don't want you to notice, because what happens, the advertisers are not going to advertise or sponsor on your slot. They don't want that. This is why it's important for us to back the media. This is why I say again, if you have something that you want to advertise or sponsor, y'all have to get with me. This is the time is now. The media is the most powerful tool. But I just got a letter that said 5 minutes, but I think I went past that. But I will be here for one more. Yes,
last question I got. Now this is after you've been situated with the police, and you're speaking from a position of people who are not nationals right now. But You want to send in, you want to take care of the case, you want to deal with the ticket, you want to deal with the infraction. When it comes to your private administrative process, is it better to have a nation that you deal with a legal counsel that can represent you? Or if you're not a national, how does your administrative process of dealing with them on a private level, how does that fare when you're really not supposed to go into their courtrooms, or are you just supposed to period stay out their courtrooms? Say that again?
Let's be realistic. Don't go and see what happens. Listen, bro, let me share this with you. I just said to you, right, what people should do is study. If you want a consultation with this brother and he's well worth it, or myself, sit with us and do a consultation and help us a little bit better. If you want to do it on yourself, and I say this a lot, you go do it yourself and do the research, okay? This class is here to give you the information. But if you want something one-on-one, I suggest you should pay it. If you sit with an attorney, they want $5,000, and they still gonna lie to you. And still lose your case when they know they supposed to know the remedy for the rules, regulations, and statute. There's a remedy for everything. So if you can sit with him and pay him $5,000, I would say sit with this person for a minute and help and support him. Support this class. Support the shows. Support the information that we're putting out to you. So when I hear people speaking, they want their personal thing right now. But listen, support that person as he's taken care of. I remember African Bible said, people will feed you for a day, but they ain't gonna keep on feeding you. They'll house you for a day, but they ain't gonna keep on doing it. So I would say, instead of you giving me something, let me give you something back at the same time. So if you want a consultation, sit with me. Consultation with me, sit with me. I say support the show. That's all I tell people to do. Because I don't hear have another radio show out here like that. And if you have the newspaper, the paper is back there with the advertisement. Yes, I advertise inside Abdullah's paper because I understand what it needs to be done. So we advertise inside the newspaper also. Even though I don't need it, but I do it because I have to support Brother Abdullah Bey for putting that newspaper out. Yes, brother, I got to be wrapping up. Go. Yes.
Well, I'm just going to ask, in reference, you started out at the beginning, you know, giving your name, your address, and your radio show, but you never got that. All I got is Sabir. I just got you.
I'm going to give it to you right now.
All right, now, please.
All right. It's Sabir, S-A-B-I-R. Huh? Right on the board. Okay, right on the board? All right, I'll do it that way. I can't assume everybody know me, all right? I'm just going to put the show up here too. Yes, sir. And actually, this is the website. I don't know why I'm doing this, but and actually you can go on here because we're getting ready to go to iHeartRadio. So I have to take a lot of stuff off of there to actually put it on iHeartRadio, so you can listen to it in the car. But if you have iTunes, TuneIn, or any of that stuff, you can listen to it in your car. Live doing it, but I won't be back because I'm doing the third season. And I won't be back until about 2 more weeks because I have to do an election in Delaware and I'm doing Texas on Thursday, so I'm out of here until next. Actually, up there online, they're on YouTube. If you just punch in Sabir Bey show, you see past shows that we just recently did. But it's every week. It's on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. Everything is there. You'll get a lot of information off there. But I just want to again get his brother a round of applause and give yourself a round of applause. Go study that code, Title 18, Section 2331, domestic terrorism. All right? Brother Ali.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother.
Sabir Bey.
We need education. And I think what the brother is also trying to tell us is that when we come into these forums, we need to be much more serious about that education. So you need whatever technology, whether it's a pen, pencil, tablet, cell phone, so you can take notes. Because that's going to start your journey into, researching. And then for people who ask more specific questions, we need to understand that structure solves all of these problems. On the 12th, well, even for the summer, the 30th and 31st, I invited every known said black leader that I knew. Because what Sabir is trying to say is that we all function as a unit, at least a critical mass of us. It don't have to be all the people in the nation. A critical mass of us, we can solve these issues. But last summit, and you know, those who are here can be my witness, we were kind of late inviting them, so we promised that we would this year, you know, get to them, and I've contacted all of them. And I got 2 responses from 17 people. Some of them were already know, like Sabir, he was gonna come, Bam, and all those. But there were 2 responses from those 17 people. The other 17 people haven't said anything. And the offer was 2 offers: to show up at the summit and the UN free for them, and to give your position on us forming this unified government that's an electable structure. Not something that I'm running or Sabir is running or anybody's running. An electable structure. I'm saying this for a reason. I want you to pay attention to what I'm saying. An electable structure that we can all participate in to solve these problems. All right? And then to deal with the issue of repair and reclamation, internal and external. And that they would come and state their position, or even if for some reason they had other commitments, they could write something in official letter format and state their position so that we could read it to the people so that we could start some type of diplomatic communications, negotiations, whatever. Let me say something, brothers and sisters. The type of person that I am, in those types of communities, I'm hated. The reason why I'm hated is because I press the bar on everybody, including myself. Out of nothing but love. It could be information, it could be political science, it could be what? Astrology. We have to push the bar because we have some conflicting things going on. We are investing ourselves in Eurocentric information, trying to decipher through it to get back home, right? To our original intent. So that always is going to cause some type of compromise. In my information or anybody, it's going to be a subtle level of compromise. How we deal with that compromise is we exchange the information around and we critique it. But Negroes, as we said last week, the estrogen is so high that they can't even take a critique on their work. Or they fear if they have to come into a group of people who are peers, similar intelligence, that some kind of way they're going to lose influence over their little few thousand people flock. You know what I mean? Or compromise their little territory. So what we're dealing with in this sense of people not responding is that they don't want to come under one government. 2 reasons. They believe it might compromise something and the niggas is scared. They scared. They scared. So we don't have to keep talking about getting together. The people in this room is enough to get together. Or wherever else they're getting together. There's some serious people. We don't have to keep talking about all these fancy fly names. Attorney this person, this minister, this. Why do we keep talking about these Negroes? I'm not inviting the niggas to nothing else. Don't ask me. I'm not going to say nothing bad about it. Excuse me, I might say something bad. Y'all have to pull me up on the drill societies. Charge me. That's what we got, our own courts, right? Charge me. Charge it to the game. Let me say this. We don't have time for that. We have to stop wasting our time and have real discussions. The reason why I told you don't listen to them because we didn't raise them right, period. That's it. Now, it's nothing else to talk about. Now, why aren't we raising them right? Because we don't know how to deal with white people. They're sophisticated enough to keep us niggas. And we're unsophisticated enough to get out of it. That's the reality. You sit down and you say, you know what? They're kicking my ass. Right. You don't act like they're not and then say, this is what we need to do. No, those things don't work. We've been doing those things. We can keep doing them under a different way or format. They don't work. Be honest with yourself. Honesty is the key to open up every dimensional inner. Be honest. All right? You can't keep the practices of these people in your cipher and get out of the problem. So Sabir's going to be there, Bam's going to, I'll be there, we'll be there. We don't got to worry about all these other people. What can they do anyway but cause confusion? They're going to cause confusion, brothers and sisters. So we don't need to keep name dropping all these people. Forget them. Let them be. And then when we get successful, they'll want to come and run and be a part of it. Now, you're not going to solve your problems. You are not going to solve your problems without investment. We want a media company? Let's put $1 million behind it. Let's do that. But you can't do that without some type of structure. You have to have some structure. You have to be willing to participate in the structure, and you have to be willing to get specialized knowledge in other areas. This is not specialized knowledge. This is inspiration and some information. You have to have coursework set up, universities backed by some type of funding. And they can start off. The UPenn, which is one of the biggest universities in Philadelphia, started out with 9 students. Now they got 40,000, and they own Southwest Philadelphia. That's somebody constantly focusing on an objective. That's what we gotta do. You have to have the patience to see this thing and where it's going. All right? If you don't want your children to not eat cheeseburgers, let's focus on our children who shouldn't be, and then we'll get to other ones. We'll get them. Get your family first. We got enough families that we cool. We got a power base to work from to get the other ones who still caught in the genocide. We need to get the youth. The youth are right here in the room. Y'all ain't old. What y'all talking about? What y'all gonna get them to do what? You are the young people. I'm the really young people. The babies that you're talking about, that are out here, we need to get them. It's the lack of strategy that we're employing in here. So if we want to employ the strategy, we gotta have serious conversations. The serious conversation is white folks have been causing terrorism, genocide all over the planet, and nobody wants to step to their asses. Not seriously. So if you got people who can go get certifications in universities with other groups, how come they can't? I have people telling me, you're not a real doctor. These are my own brothers, I love them to death. How Western Hollywood tell me I'm not a real doctor? That's my brother, I love him to death. Why would he say that to me? What would be the basis? There had to be some emotional stuff that's going on. I would never say that to him. But these are the people who consider themselves your leaders. It doesn't mean that that person is bad. He's brilliant. But what in him makes him say that? Yes. You see what I'm saying? We have to look at our people critically. And that's a symptomatic thing that we have to look at, not just on the personal aspect of that person, but the symptomatic ideology of our people that we are nothing unless white people co-sign that shit. Okay. That's why you don't want to build a government, because you're looking for recognition. You're looking for permission. And they employ every tactic around you. They know the information is already out to knock their ass out of this universe. It's already out. Anybody teaching nothing that ain't already out that can knock out these fools, it's just not organized. That's it. We got everything back right now as far as the basic is considered. We got all the teachers. They sisters, brothers, they teaching on all this stuff. You want health? We got that. You want economics? We got that. You want structure? We got that. You want law? We got that. We just gotta organize it. Why are niggas scared to organize it? That's the question that we have to ask the people who are scared. You gotta call them out straight up. So why weren't you at the meeting? No, we don't want to hear your lectures no more. You weren't there. When we called everybody to be there, your ass wasn't there. Nigga, we gonna boycott your ass. We boycott them first, we gonna boycott you. Why you not showing up? Like, what's the purpose? All these great, brilliant brothers and sisters out here, and they don't want to come under a room for free to talk about getting together? You know what I mean? We putting the bill on this one. We ask them for nothing, just show up. Or look, even if you can't show up, just write something and send it to us, and we'll read it, so on the record you don't look like the person who don't want to participate. So we gotta cut all this out. We gotta cut it out. The police are using deadly force. Listen, if you study the code, they tell you even in the New York fake ordinances that you can use deadly force on them. If you presume that something is happening to you that is unjustifiable, he don't have probable cause, you knock that Negro out, go fight it. You don't have to be at the end of the stick all the time. It's just submission and then a bullet. That's some metaphysical stuff going on. You invoking fear and then want justice. It don't work in the universe like that. You don't even know natural law first. You gotta start there and then work your way into these things. What you scared of the police for? They've been whooping their ass for 500 years. Why are you scared of them? You know what they're gonna do? Listen, the police are not law enforcement. The cities are set up and run by bond companies. Period. They're run by buying companies, and none of the indigenous peoples in here have families that run those companies. So when they sit and they want to shape policy, they shape policy for their children. So what we do, we say, listen, okay, that's great. We're going to employ methodologies to get our people out of these encumbrances. We're going to get you out of debt. We're going to teach you contract law. We're going to teach you all these things to show you the fraud. You know what that does when Sabir is running a class and somebody's running a class? That puts Sabir on somebody's wall. Now we're looking at Sabir. If we take him out or try to take him out, who's going to cry? Because that's the only issue that they're taking up. Who supports him? How many people are watching the show? Where is he? How mobile is he? Does he have a security team? They're going to do all their military tactics, and they're going to say, oh, black people will sell Sabir Bey out, let's go get him. That's the litmus test. They'll sell Ali Muhammad out, let's go get him. Now let me say something. I'm about to show you something that's going to blow your mind. No, not you. I'm talking about, not y'all. The element, let me say this. There's an element, and we got to be honest. There's an element that works more strategically against us than we work for ourselves. That's what I want to say. You follow? So we do have the heart, but this is why we need more meetings and more things so we can come together and say, no, this is how we're going to stop that. Because in this universe, if you don't have a plan, you consider chaos, which means you're subject to be moved as matter in any way by an organized structure. You follow me? You understand that? That's a law in this universe. You can't just be a random planet floating around and think that if you've got a sun or a star there, it's not going to pull you into its gravitational power. It can, because it's an organized system. So organized lies is stronger than disorganized truth. Y'all heard that before, right? But let me break down something. White folks already know how brilliant you are, because they remember your empires, they got all the books, they got everything. They know you're, let me say this clearly. The so-called Negro in North America is threat level number 1 on the planet, period. That's why so much money is invested in keeping you in your state. That's a lot of money invested into keeping you a nigger. I'm talking about multi-trillions of dollars to keep you a nigger. Studying you biochemically to keep you sedated, to shut down the melanin, to do all those things. Those things are happening every day. If you go and study the operations that are tailored towards keeping you sedated, you will be surprised at what you see. Be surprised, because you don't know how special you are. You have an idea of it, but your power and what you can do on this planet to shift things, we have to become more aware of that power that we have here. Everybody knows it in some form or fashion. And this is why people envy you so much. You got worldwide envy that goes on, and it's a love-hate relationship. You ever had somebody that was like that towards you, jealous and envious of you, but acting like they love, and it was almost confused in their emotions? It's because of your level of power. Right, and they want some of it, so they don't know how to do it because they might not have it themselves, so they try to get around you, absorb a little bit, do what these little Katy Perrys and the other white girl do, put the twerking in the video. They try to find a way to be you. All right? And if you don't think you're a threat, let me show you something. I gotta show you this. Listen. All right, check this out. Let me tell you about our work that we do. Our work is government. And health. Governmental structure and making sure the people in it are healthy so that we can do something different. We've been doing this work for years now. We can go back to 2004, 2005 when we first formed the International Society of Indigenous Sovereigns, which is a human rights advocate group that we formed the plebiscite. The plebiscite was our action or our election to say, we're here in the United States and we have some type of political status. We're going to work it out so that's not a fraudulent status, but we want our own indigenous status and our own government. That's nationality, right? Our teachers have all came and taught us these things, or led us to that way. So we formed something, right? And in forming that, we carried on the procedure of carrying out a plebiscite. This is what Malcolm X and the OAU were trying to do back in the 60s, and with the United Nations and other things going on. Sidebar. If any Negro out here tells you that we're going to beg the UN for reparations, please cybersmack that nigga. Excuse my language. Cybersmack him. And excuse me, if you don't like the use of the term Negro or nigga, I'll stop using it because I don't want to disrespect that. But never begged these people for anything. And we're not even imploring that we are. What we're striving to do is to bring more international recognition to our brothers and sisters, that not only are we aware of what's going on to us, we're aware of the proper levels of response on all levels. Because the thing that our people internationally don't understand us about us is, why haven't we done this already? Why haven't y'all done it already? Why haven't y'all formed yourself into a governing faction and come to the rest of your brothers and sisters so we can trade and commerce and talk and open and private about handling this problem that we all have? Because if y'all did it, then the foreign policy of the U.S. would get weaker, because it's stronger now because y'all ain't doing nothing. So we need to have that conversation, and we need to make sure that people don't try to divert what we are doing into some other thing. We're going to beg for reparations, or we're going to the UN. These are some of the responses I got back. The UN is insolvent, so why are you talking to? Come on, man, I don't want to hear that gold, silver talk no more. Or you're not using real money, but you want me to buy some of your products with fake Federal Reserve notes. Let's calm down and be real. We know that those things are partially true. We know what these people have done, but the greatest resource we have is linking up with each other, even if we're still in this fictitious situation. So the idea that we have is to come together under that functional government. So we started various entities, started the plebiscite, created the government, and let me tell you something. The so-called white people who run this thing know when you know what they know, and you're playing chess instead of checkers. And what they will start doing is employing tactics to subliminally cut you off before you get to the point that you want to get to. And the people who are unaware don't even know what's happening, because they're not paying attention to the growth in their own community, and they're not paying attention to the fact that we're threat level number one. I'm about to show you something. Let me show you this. All right, so this is some of the stuff that we've done. Let me show you something real quick. You see this right? All right, so they have this new terrorist organization called ISIS. Talk about all of this. Yeah, right. The so-called Arabic name for this group allegedly is Al-Daesh. And now they're all over the world. Anybody seen this? Everybody. They took this acronym from us. That we've been using since 2004, when there was no ISIS. And instead of using the name of the people like they call them Al-Qaeda, why did they just call them Al-Daesh? Okay, so, but my point is, the European powers and the Americans made up an acronym for them and titled it after an international entity that's here trying to get you in a position for human rights and nationality. They carbon copied it and flashed it in front of the news so they can drop the mind control, subliminal suggestion right into your mind. So when you hear Brother Ali come up and talk about ISIS, you're going to be like, oh, wait a minute. You affiliated with the terrorist organization? Of course, we have never terrorized white people. If we terrorize white people, y'all, everybody would know it, because this thing will be shut down. Actually, we've been more passive than anything that we can think of. So we haven't done any harm to these people. So they took that and they made this up. So now, their communication is ISIS is the most sophisticated form of terrorism we've seen. So check this out. We're playing chess and checkers. We're going to discontinue the use of this name. We don't even need it. Okay? We're going to discontinue the use of it. And I'm going to make a public statement on why, because we have other entities that we can form those things. We're going to make a statement on why we're going to discontinue the use. And if they think I'm speculating, that's fine. They won't be able to associate us with this stuff. And it's not out of fear. It's out of protection and chess. We never raised an arm, a gun, or nothing at nobody. We're here, right, forming our people into a socio-political, cultural, and economic structure to help them out. But my point is, this is when you know the threat. This is the formula that they use. Capability plus intent equals threat level. That's the Joint Chiefs of Staff memos. Capability plus intention equals threat level. So, if we love our people, that's our capability, all right? Our intention is to love our people some more. That's the capability. I mean, that's the intention. The threat level is we love ourselves. It's a threat to white people. Damn. That's all we're doing. We're working and as a team with our people. That's our capability. Our intention is to keep doing that. That's our intention. And our threat level is teamwork amongst the so-called Negro is forbidden, or else our powers will use said magic on the population that they're trying to reach. But our point is, stop being scared. Whether you fight or you don't fight, he's still the beast. He's gonna gobble your ass up. You don't have no choice. You don't have to be stupid. You can be strategic. You don't have to, be wild and radical and crazy. You can be intelligent. That's what you want to be. By any means necessary, intelligent. That's how our people have to work. So, if you want a law course, the brother's asking us about his private remedy, take that course, get around the people who are talking about it, and generate inside of that environment, because everybody here is not going to study the law. Somebody's not even interested in it. And that's cool. Who wants to do that? If that's not in your birth chart, it's not your specialization. You have to find your specialization based on your culture, not based on you talking about whatever. I don't know how we figure out what we want to do in life, about how much money you want to make. We already got the formulas on how to deal with this stuff. So, we know who we are. Listen, we've been here. They make up all these fake terms, Negro, African, and all this, and this creates confusion amongst us. Right? Because I'm Pan-African, nigga, you Moorish, nigga, you Israelite, nigga, I'm Muslim, nigga, you Christian. Nigga, shut up! Where did you get all this stuff from? Where did you get all this from? Our motto is First Nation. That's what we are. We're the first people on this planet, period. Every segment of time that we dealt with some relative implementation of a specific culture, that's cool. Keep it. We ain't got no problem with that. But what you fighting each other over for? How people that use the same books fight each other? Arguing about which one came first. Are you kidding me? Which name came first? It's a name. People make names. So the people were here before the names, and we still here. You got it? So what are you arguing over? If there's something that looks inside to see whether something is dangerous inside of what has become of the culture, we understand that. We can do that. We can have debates on that. We can have dialogues on that. But stop acting like you're actually different. Are you kidding me? What is different about you? I mean, you're unique within your own right. But what is different about you? You're in the hells of North America, you original people catching hell. And you can do a lot to get out of that. You have to pay these fake contracts. You got to study with some people who know how to get out of that stuff. So we come in on Saturday to talk about law. You're in debt, you got student loans, you got mortgage companies chasing you, trying to get you out of your house. What do you do about these things? How do you implore? And where is the extended conversation happening? It can't be just Ali trying to run classes online, offline. Put some effort. What you doing? Why are you here in this universe? To sit and watch other people work? At a time where you are being called to do something that only you can do, and you sit there and you hide it from the rest of the group? And you're wondering why the group can't succeed? You're gonna turn into a Mason. You're hiding all your attributes. You got all this artillery and you say, we have to look at this a different way. All right, so this is us. This is us in America. Before anybody was naming us, let us name ourselves. That's why we use the generic term indigenous as a status, so we can stop arguing. Because if you're African, you're arguing to be indigenous, you'll be the first one. If you're Moorish, you'll be the indigenous or aboriginal or original one. Whatever. Be the first. Be the authentic. Then we can stop arguing over identity for a moment to say, can we all form ourselves under one umbrella and elect who we want to be in power, and then give Sabir Bey some funding from the national treasury, give Sarnetta, give whoever some money to run our operations? We can do that. Other communities are doing it. But you got to get out of debt first. You got to get out of these mortgages. How you going to take control of a community? Everybody's renting. You want to run a local indigenous security unit in a place where everybody's renting? You can't even do it. You got to get out of these false contracts. And why are you renting? Because you don't want to work together. You got a Gucci bag and you can't pay your rent. You haven't even set a budget. for the month. But you got 5 groups on Facebook. Or you sit down on the TV, you know every show that comes on in the evening. Atlock, CSI, you got all this stuff in here. So we have to change, right? We have to change the way we eat. We have to gain the culture because those things amplify us back to our temple, having this original resonant frequency so we can use the intelligence. The intelligence is being shut down mathematically. So if I say, look, I got triggers. So if I say this, you're not African, you get you start spazzing out. Your neural network cannot receive another memory because you have an imprint that's a false imprint that has been overlaid. If I show you the first African was a European, this is the coinage, and they made the name up, and now, look, they took the name and they just took the name and said, all right, we the first Africans, we know that, and we fought against the original people of this land. Now we're going to take and put this name on them. Not mean we against Africa. Then people get on the radio, oh, we hate Africa. How you know I didn't say that? Why you going to CNN blip me like that? You're doing what the enemy does to your own people now. We're talking about a historical point and the trick that they try to divide us. And then I have all kinds of people who do this to me. They get on the line and say, he hates Africa. Nigga, if I hated Africa, I'd be down at Columbia University selling y'all niggas out. They'll love to have me. Whooping niggas, getting in the rooms like that. This is what they eat. Listen, give them this. This is going to shut down this, and this, and this, and this. And yeah. That's what they do. They take our brilliance and they fund it. Right? And then we say, well, you a sellout, nigga. I can't believe you. And we say, oh, they say, well, what you got to do for me over there? No. So let's have something so when the children grow up, they have somewhere to go, to be a part of something. Otherwise, they're going to be a part of what they see as said success. And it's too easy to do this. It's too easy. I know from my own life, it's too easy. Because I have a whole other life that I live besides Arnhem, and I'm able to do that and Arnhem. It's too easy. I've written thousands of legal documents, over 15 books just in the average stress that you're in. I'm not exonerated from nobody's stress. I get the same cussing out when I come home and all the kind of other stuff going on in the house. I'm not going to let that distract me from what we're supposed to be focusing on though. Sometimes we let that distract us. So look, let me get to this. Don't forget, see, we have to be honest. We go into the UN, right? One of the conversations that I'm going to have with some of these ambassadors, if they show up, is, listen, you know your people enslaved us. I'm talking about that said Africans. You don't want to have that conversation. You know why you need to have the conversation? Because it gives a better idea specifically of who you were in West Africa, for those of us who were in that part of the planet at that time, and what the dynamics were at that time, and why certain systems are being highlighted as dangerous. All right? So when we go back to certain kingdoms, we can see some of our own people doing this, and we also need to see this because history is a holographic image of the present. It is. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that you know that you're in the judgment because everything tells on itself. Well, everything is always telling on itself in this universe. Do you have the ears, the eyes, the nose to smell it, see it, and hear it? Because you still got niggas right now who amongst you who are selling it. Stop! So you have to be able to detect that. It happened in the past, it happens now. All right? And we can take that conversation to a lot of places, but I want you to see that white folks didn't just jump out of Europe and land in Africa and start enslaving people. They weren't that strong. They weren't that strong. So, and I'm saying that also because, you know, people ask me, well, what we need to form a government? We already got a black president. Do I really have to explain this to them? What does that mean? What are you saying to them? Obama is actually a descendant of the slave masters. Right? The Dunn family was a family from Europe that carried out slavery in Louisiana and migrated up to where he was born at, wherever in the Midwest. That's his mother's line. His father's line is from East Africa. Not to say that that line is not connected to West Africa, but what I'm trying to say to you is that when he went before the world and said Israel is the only group that went through a Holocaust, he showed complete insensitivity to you, both politically and feeling as a human being. He said that. All right? So now he's trying to be cool with you and saying he's going to demilitarize the police. Yeah, right. Look, New York State Penal Code 3505, a person acting under a reasonable belief that another person is about to commit suicide or to inflict serious physical injury upon himself may use physical force upon such person to the extent that, that's the wrong one I'm reading, believes is necessary. That's when someone's trying to hurt themselves. This is what I wanted to read. This is the one that Sabir was bringing up. Domestic terrorism means activities that A, involve acts dangerous to human life that are a violation of the criminal laws of the United States or of any state. B, appear to be intended, 1, to intimidate or coerce the civilian population. What happened in Ferguson? Weren't they intimidating and coercing the civilian population? Oh, were they? What is a civilian population? See the word civil, which means what? What does the word civil mean? Say it again? Civil law. Yeah, civil means law. The word civil means law. So you're walking freedom of assembly, and then they can come in and say, wait a minute, freedom of assembly is a said First Amendment right in the Constitution. We're implementing local ordinance police powers to say you can't be on this road, you got a curfew. What is that? How does the curfew law apply to the Constitution? There is no connection. Let me break something down to you. You are not a citizen. You never have been. Quit acting like you have been. Tell your legal scholars to come in here and argue with us. You've never been a citizen. You can't be a citizen. That Constitution wasn't written for you. You are a second-class citizen. 77 years later, they offered you a subject citizenship, period. Bring your lawyers in so we can show you. Bring your lawyers in. And now they got everybody under this little fake birth certificate schematic. They get every group. So when you see this group intimidate or coerce a civilian population, the police are doing that. But they're doing it under the guise that they're municipal law enforcement. What does that mean? They're there to protect the assets of the municipality. Assets. And the assets of the municipality include the property of the municipality, its businesses, its image, and its residents. Residents. What is resident? There we go. Ident. To identify a res. You ever hear the term res judica? It means to decide or a decided thing. A thing that has been decided in the courts. A resident is to identify a thing. Go back to regular language class. Person, place, or what? Thing. You got natural persons, right? And then you got these things called artificial persons. That's what they make you into, contractual, period. They got you. They got the whole country in there. So now we need a national civics class for the indigenous people and the non-indigenous people to get them out of this thing because they don't know how to get out. That's revolution at the strike of a pen. I don't have no arms in here but my mind telling somebody that. And if you can get the population to understand these little basic concepts, you can create the scenario that you want to create, which is, let's go detail. Let's go detail. We form indigenous jurisdictions in local areas, right? We got one here. The object of that is to get our people inside of programs to get themselves free. If they do it right, they're going to create a power base. They create a power power base and they start educating the community based on various programs, health, whatever, now they have changed the GNP of the local community to bring their resources to them. Because you got the best information in all those areas. And then if you get enough people, you know what you can do? Even though you got your indigenous jurisdiction going on, which they can't step in, you can step into their jurisdiction as a national and say, let's make an election for secession away from the municipality. Now, we're going to fire the mayor, the police department, everybody. The people are going to do it. How are you going to do it? Because now, we've shown them the programs for non-tax liability, how to contract on their job, all these other things. So now they know how to interface with their said employers, or if they're independent contractors, they know how to contract. No one can penalize them and take away their assets. We don't like the mayor, you know what? We're not funding the government anymore. What you gonna do? That's the kind of power that you're supposed to have as indigenous peoples to form the things that need to be formed to lead the other people out. So you gotta see it. You gotta see yourself in time and space to see what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be leading the world practically out of their bondage. That's what you're supposed to be doing. So when we take these classes, we answer these questions about 1099s and how to do this. These are serious things that the whole nation is plagued with. People want answers, they don't have it. We talk about it every week. They ain't talking about it to nobody. They don't even, some people don't even know these conversations are happening. You know what? They're not supposed to know yet, because you're supposed to create the power base so that you can trump and have the influence. This is how Europeans did it. They set up in Spain, West Africa, in their little groups, and they said, damn, these black people got everything. And they implemented taxes on us and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, we taxed them. So they got together and figured out what we was running, right? And they said, well, we're gonna make something that suits our nature. They start sending little ugly white women and black men, right? And you start chasing after them. They did all kind of other tactics on the women and the society, because they're like, oh look, these people are so giving. Let's act like we're going to get amongst them and start gossiping. So you only got to live your nature to be powerful in this universe. That's all you have to do. White people are powerful because they're perfect in their nature, evil as hell. And we need to give them a standing ovation. That's why I ain't mad at them. See, look, y'all actually get mad at white people for being evil when they're made to be evil. What's wrong with you? That means you don't know what you're looking at. You're expecting them to be right when they weren't made for that. If they do that, give them a round of applause. They're going against their nature. Now you are going against your nature and not seeing the success, wondering why. Then the Mexicans can get in a house with 8 people and get everybody free. And we've been living amongst each other for trillions of years, and niggas can't stand being in the same living room? No, you can't stay here for 3 months to save no money, nigga. Get out. Get out. Huh? That's crazy. That means you don't love yourself and something is wrong with you. Sisters, don't y'all do that? So you stand in my house. Ain't having that. Some people you don't actually need to let them in your house. But we need to find a way to work collectively. You're trying to do this as, there's no such thing as an individual entrepreneur. That's some stuff that's made up. Amos Wilson said a free market economy is fake. It's not a free market. They control everything and tell you it's free. Oh, you can come to America and make it and go to school and become a good... Listen, y'all have to stop following these illusions. These illusions and delusions. And this is my last few points. Listen, write this code down. I'm not even going to go over this and read it and see what it says. All right, about property and people taking stuff from you. I have something else I want to show. Proof you were here. We already went over those things. Oh, let me go back to this. All right. So when you see this right here, this is the Supreme Court case that's never been overturned. It says, as a member of a corporation, the government never exercises sovereignty. Period. Y'all seen this before, some of y'all. So you go to the House of Representatives, and not only the House of Representatives, New York, municipality, whatever, it tells you they're companies and corporations. The House of Representatives is a company that's traded on the stock market as the Office of Law Revision Counsel, which is a team of lawyers that actually writes these bills and not Congress. So Congress, they tell them, look at the theory. They get up there, oh, we're waiting on Boehner and so-and-so to meet so we can get this bill passed. They already got the bill written. And they playing theater with you. Then they say, oh, the last minute we got the bill passed. Since 1974, private lawyers have been writing the United States Code and the statutes, which in this country is sedition and treason. See, we don't want to have a real conversation about what's going on. We got to educate our people so they can see what's going on. But in order for us to do that, we have to call for the right entity. And the right entity for us to stop police terrorism is to form our own governmental structure. Let me go back so that I can solidify this in your mind. That's the only thing that we got to do. I'm tired of talking to people. I'm tired of trying to convince people. I'm not writing no more books. I already wrote all the books. What y'all want to do? Look what it says. To influence the policy of a government by intimidation or coercion is an act of domestic terrorism. Or to affect the conduct of a government by mass destruction, assassination, or kidnapping. See, y'all not paying attention to what's being said. What's happening is the said people who are in government, who are not government, are the ones who are doing this. They're carrying out political assassinations upon the people, the government, to stop them from becoming aware that they've heisted it. You hear me? Look, everybody's waking up. Everybody's waking up. You can't deny that people are aware now. The question is, what are you going to do? Our position is we have a systematic structure for you to do those particular things. We're not waiting on no other groups to come and have this miraculous unity. We're not going to wait on that anymore. We want to keep writing to these people internationally, keep getting support, and set up a structure that our people can participate in and have the confidence that it can operate. That's what we need to divest our attention to. Religion and all this fake culture is dead. It doesn't work. We did a lecture a few weeks ago. You can't have a culture in a place where you're being seized of your assets and your resources. How you going to have a culture? How you going to be a more scientist? A Kemetic priest, a rabbi, implementing some culture when you got to go home and pay the tax bill. And you don't know how to get out of that situation to secure the home for your family. So now you're stressed out. You can't do no magic. You're throwing all the spells at them. The spell of Kansu. You're throwing the spell of Morris Said. You're throwing all these goddamn spells. None of them working. You got cowrie shells. You're cutting the chicken head off and tasting the blood. And none of this stuff is stopping white people. All these goddamn rituals you didn't do now. You're doing all this stuff. You're praying to Jesus. Muhammad's going to come back and break the cross and kill the swine. None of these niggas are showing up. The mother plane is going to come down and drop bombs into the ground and blow it up. The aliens are going to save us. Goddamn black people, when you going to realize you can do it yourself? All these people, Allah, Atum Ray, Olodubar Ray, everybody coming to save your ass, but ain't nobody showing up. And then the last resolve you have is bow to white people. Shit, we might as well just go ahead and eat the cheesesteaks and go to Mardi Gras and watch the ball drop. Shit. Damn, is your life that worthless? Hell no. If your life was that worthless, the most vicious machine in human history would not be investing no time to see that you're not successful. They're investing all of their time. So go home and this is your meditation tonight. Who the hell am I that the said most powerful people on the planet don't want to see me come to be who I am as a human being? What do I have in me that they remember the epic memory in them when we rule the world that's so dangerous? We said it already. It's the fear of a black planet. We had already sung all the songs and brought all the ancestral messages back. All we got to do is continue to work together, form the critical mass that we need to form. Police terrorism will continue until we change our dynamic. We have to look at this on the spiritual plane that it is. White folk only exist as a mutation of an aspect of our own consciousness. And that is if we say Islam, the angel that didn't bow, the Iblis, the force that was corroded and decided to go against the other forces that were a part of us. And we've been struggling with this force now. It's physically before us in opposition to us. So I've heard Minister Farrakhan say, if you check the devil within, you can check it without. That's it. That's it. You already got every tool that you need to unlock this thing, so I'm done. Let's take some questions. Get you help. Yes, ma'am.
I want to find out about the domestic violence. Can they do that in Ferguson, perhaps, against the cop that shot Mike Brown? Can they bring that case? Charge the cop with domestic terrorism.
Okay, let's come to, because she asked a good question. Can we charge the cop with domestic terrorism? This is why they got on Eric Holder so much, because Eric Holder, right now, under that framework of government, would be the party who could come and charge the police or the officer with that charge or other charges. So when he took his team to do investigations, I don't know what he's going to actually do, but that party, the federal attorney general, could bring charges against the police or Darren Wilson, and that's how it should be done. So let me say this. Let me rewind a little bit. If we wanted Darren Wilson, right, or any other cop, we have to stop the local officials and black politicians from fooling us. This is how you do it. Mike Brown gets killed. Hits the news. Everybody starts going out there, right? Al Sharpton and Reverend Jesse. That's your first level of tactics to implore the people to calm down, whatever, sedate. Or it's also a testing mechanism to see how the people are responding. So they didn't respond to them, say, oh, this is threat level. They're not responding to the people we put out there for them to respond to. Don't take this bad, because I don't think this brother is as aware as he should. You have lawyers, Black Lawyers for Justice, Malik Zeus, that's one of them. They go and they go file a class action civil suit for the people. Mistake. What you're doing is the people should not agree to this. What you're doing is you're closing the situation off to a domestic situation in the nation where you are now pulling them into their courts, which gives the courts jurisdiction to hear it. So now, if I were to come and say, no, this is a crime against these people, human rights, we're taking it to the International Criminal Court, if they already signed on to hear it in this court, that court can't even have jurisdiction. Or the Inter-American Court of Justice, which will say it's a human rights violation instead of a civil rights violation. So in order to get prosecution, the people need to know that our situation is similar to what's happening in Palestine. We are denationalized people, right, who are being encroached upon through domestic terrorism, through the police. We've never been citizens, and they continue to do this, and we have the records of them doing it. So now we're going to sue them in international court to do that. That means the local attorneys have to stop and help with the international suits, right? So that you have that going on. And then with the Attorney General, he can still file those charges against Darren Wilson. The question is, will he do it? Now, everybody saw the autopsy. The guy's 6'4", he got shot in the top of the head. Which means that the officer had to be standing over him or he had to be on the ground. He got shot in these areas, which means he was trying to block it or had his hands up. The DA should have already, if they were going to do something, indicted the officer. The only reason the DA has not indicted the officer is because something is going on inside of this, which is the history is we don't have any respect. But the other side of it is, what is the linchpin that's trying to be pushed? We have to look at that.
There's a possibility that they're trying to escalate things for some reason. Maybe because they see us trying to come together to make this an international issue, they're trying to push more buttons. Could be. They're pushing the ISIS thing at the same time. We have to look at these influences and we have to respond. So this is what I suggest to the people in Ferguson at this point. Everything you've done, I do not speak against what you've done. But now it's time to go home. Time to go home. Why is it time to go home? At this point, your inspiration to make a statement has already been made. The National Guard is inside of Ferguson right now. I saw the videos where they're bringing the tanks in. Go home. You're not prepared for that yet. Don't keep rioting. Don't keep burning stuff up. I know there are people who want to do that. Go home. I'm going to use my voice to speak to some of these brothers so we can give them better advice. But Ferguson is going to happen again. I'm sorry. White folks are going to kill our people. And another mother or father, family, is going to lose a brother or sister because we live in a place where these things are, it's a mathematical system set up and we haven't changed that system yet. But we have an opportunity to do that. It's not justice for us who know better to not act better at this point. We actually committed a crime against our own future. So there's a lot of basic things that we can do, but the people need to go home now, go home to their families, understand what's going on, and then come up with some serious planning. Keep Reverend Al Sharpton, keep Jesse Jackson out of your town, and all these phonies, and let's have some conversation with some serious people so we can say that we can set the stage for this never to happen again. White folks know that we're courageous. They know we're right. LA, we can go back to all the riots that we've done. They know we'll do this. That's why they have the National Guard and all these things in place. But at some point, we have to get the sensibility to surround ourselves around the best information that we have. That's what we're trying to disseminate to the people. That's what we're trying to get to. I pray that they will begin to listen and that we can reach more people and use better techniques. But the way that they're going about it right now, I don't want to see any of my brothers and sisters die. Not just because they're courage. I don't mind dying, people dying. Let me say this, and I don't mind rioting. I'm a radical beyond reason. I won't even say what I'm thinking about right now. I ain't got nothing to do with all the rioting. Let's go find this dude where he at. So we just have to become, more aware. We have to become more aware. Everybody needs to go home and remember what happened. And now those brothers and sisters who did the said civil disobedience, wherever you are, warrior, I salute you 1,000% because you set the stage to say we're not taking it. And that's how we gotta be. We gotta be that way. So all the people who spoke against the riot, shut down. We don't want to hear what you guys say. We don't want to hear that. Man. The children are not trying to hear that. Cops, you gonna get shot. Brothers in Philly are already shooting you. They don't care nothing about you, and they're not scared of you. Because they are see, some of us, we got a little 401ks and all that stuff. My generation, we don't got that. We don't even know what that is. So they're going to shoot back. And I have no problem with that. But let's form an entity so you can shoot back legally. Lawfully. Yeah. Let's teach you how to use these arms. Privately. We could do that. Let's raise up our own security forces and our own intelligence in our own communities, and we can do that. We have the specialization to do that. If y'all want to back something, listen, I ain't going to be biased, but back what we do. We got people who can train people for real. I'm not talking about no fake training. You want your sons to be a part of something that's militant but disciplined so that they don't have these interfaces with police officers and they know how to conduct themselves? Come let us train them. And there's other groups that can help with that too. Because there's a frequency that we have to turn on now. You know what I mean? There's a frequency. You got to shut off some other frequencies and turn on some other frequencies. The cops attack me, I ain't never worried about a cop killing me. I'm going to die, by some other means.
But I know I'm intelligent enough to know that even if I said resist, I got powers backing me. I don't care what you say. I'm into real voodoo. Not no fake chasing stuff and trying to kill it. I don't need no altars. The universe is my altar. We need to get back into our real magic. Our real magic is the power of our minds when we're focusing and we're fully confident in ourselves and the powers that brought us into existence as the original people of this universe. And we have to make that our main line of thought amongst our people, because once you do that, it's a circle. It's a group resonance. You gotta wake our people up, they're dead. But, in the meantime, the people who are already work together more efficiently. Work together more efficiently. And find out, if you have any problems, how to make those things work. We got a critical mass already. We got Army. Y'all here every Monday or every other day. You got the Terrorism Bays and we got all these people around here now. Let's bring them together. Tell them to come to the summit. They can come in. Just come in the building. We not come in. You want to talk? We'll give you 5 minutes. Go ahead, say something. But participate in this. Because believe me, I know my family don't like what I do. Don't put your ass on blast. I'm gonna blast your ass if you show up. Why don't you want to work for your people? You ain't gotta like me. I don't like you either. We gotta not like each other to be under the same jurisdiction.
They do it too.
They do it. Hell, we do it in their jurisdiction. So let's find a way to work together. Hopefully I'll try to answer the questions. Let's take a few more. Okay.
Real quick question. As a show of, let's say, honorability with honor, would Arna be able to, on an honorable basis, deal with the Brown family and accept the Brown family into Arna if they, don't want to deal with the United States, and actually use this as a legal platform? As a platform. Everybody wants to know what the Brown families wants to do. As a strategy, we accept Arna into, we accept the Brown family into Arna on an honorary basis, and then let the world know. But as a political platform, as a strategy, could we do that?
I would love to do that. I know they just had the funeral. I haven't written to anyone or gotten anyone direct contact. I was supposed to go to Ferguson and I deferred because of family responsibilities. But yeah, I would be more than willing to do that. I want to be careful about politicizing someone's pain. You know what I mean? Let some time go by and they grieve for their son. You know what I mean? I don't want to be all up in their face right now when they're grieving, because some people just go get a photo op. They shaking hands with their mom and they put it on Facebook. Yeah, man, we're playing with people's lives, man. They lost their son for real. He's not coming back. That's dishonorable. I'm just saying that publicly, just for anybody who hears these classes or whatever, quit playing with them. But yes, we would be more than willing to do that. And let me say this, coming into our nation for everybody is free. Obligations which cover the nationality process, but the Brown family and every other injured so-called African-American family, come on in. You're welcome. We got the people who can guide you here to show you how to do the intakes. Come on in, it's free. Jump in the boat. We here. You talking about the black organization that police officers? Yeah. I haven't seen if they put out a public statement. He's talking about the 100 black men in law enforcement. I haven't seen if they put out a public statement. Has anybody seen whether they put out a public statement about the Mike Brown case? No. They didn't? Okay. Huh? Yeah. They didn't? I've been seeing groups speak out. Right. Well, we'll pull that information. But there are people who are speaking out, but I see your sentiment. The people who don't speak out, let's not give them no attention.
But do you know that today that they said that Darren Wilson and other cops 4 miles away from Ferguson, they shut the whole police force down for racism and complaints about brutality?
Oh, the police force he used to be a part of?
Yes.
Yeah, well, Darren Wilson was a part of a former police force that was shut down prior to him coming to Ferguson. Last question. Oh, we'll take 2, that's it. One and two.
If you're going to sue a municipality, would you sue the CEO of the like the city or the police department? Because they're two
If you
separate
sue a
corporations.
municipality the way that we sue a municipality, you sue the municipality, you sue the officers who are injured, you sue the trustees, you sue the insurance companies, you sue all of the bondholders, you sue the actual instrument, which is the QSIP number instrument. You sue, you're suing, it's a plethora. And what you're doing is, let me explain. See, this is why we have, these are extended courses. If you sue the insurance companies and the trustees and the bondholders, what you're doing is, every municipality has municipal bonds. And they have recurrent statements that they have to make to their investors. So when a lawsuit comes upon them and all of their proprietary investors, they have to report that to their investors as a possible injury to the investment. So when they make their quarterly reports or whatever to their investors, or however frequent they're making it, they have to report that, and they don't like that because it affects the level of, investment. So if we were smart enough, in a case like Mike Brown or something else, or the multiple cases that are happening, we could arrange the suits so that it depreciates the market value of the bonds of the city. But we have to get that kind of specialization more popular. So that, and that's when they'll be like, okay, state the loan, this nigga don't have suits.
How do you get
You
that
can
information?
get some answers, you can get cases thrown out, you can get a whole bunch of things going on. But you have to know where to look for that information at. How to get out of the QSIP number. You can get the bondholders by just Googling general obligation bonds and in the name of the city. Find all the information that you want. Let's thank Google for their great work. Yes. Okay. Question. The question on the floor is, does Honor do community outreach? We do all types of community outreach, but if you talk about a specific area for a specific method,
I just think people on the ground,
right.
grassroots level, talking to people, informing them.
Well, this is how we operate our structure, so you can understand. We have local jurisdictions, like this one, Manhattan, and the local jurisdictions are composed of people who are professionals in certain fields or whatever. So you might see a health researcher here reaching out to, I don't know, a YMCA or people in the neighborhood to do free lectures or something of that nature. You might see somebody who is a law master who's doing services in the community, who might be doing free presentations or some type of work. So we use, what we do is we have 12 councils and people get specialization in them, and those people's work is to have labor in that and to do outreach to get people to come into the group and to assist people with whatever they're doing. Our grassroots techniques are a little bit different than how we used to organize it, and our motto or our theme is that we don't want to overstress our ability to reach out to people. A lot of times in the organizations that I've been in, the constant thought is to get people interested in something that they're doing where they're at or in what you're doing. And what happens is the group gets taxed over years because the outreach is not generating some type of model so that we can make the internal group grow better or the external group. It's just service oriented or notice or connection, which is going to happen anyway. But what we need to be able to do, the grassroots, that ideology that I have is Kwame Ture. And if you look at SNCC, the reason why SNCC was so efficient is because they didn't just, or even the Panthers, they didn't just do programs, they had ways for the community to invest back into what they're doing, whether it's volunteerism or whatever. So that's how we do. We'll go out, Lawmaster does some work with somebody, they come back, they get free financial recovery, which is a system that we use to get rid of debts. So anybody who comes, whether they're nationals or not, can get that program. But in order to get that, they have to have some type of interface with us. So our agenda is, we're going to give you something, but we need you to learn the utility of how to use it, so when you go back out doing what you're doing, you can produce labor for yourself and you can produce education at the same time. Go ahead.
That's what I was going to ask you about education. Because this is a nation, but is there a place where the nation's children go and learn?
Not here, not locally, except for the classes. We don't have a school here. We don't have a local school here. And that's just a matter of investment.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, not yet. I mean, we already know some things that are in the works. But we're a small, growing group, you know what I mean? And we gotta put more emphasis on our own infrastructure. Sometimes we have great success in other areas, sometimes we don't. You know what I mean? That's just the nature of our people having a recognition of the utility of what we have. But we got some bombs to drop on people. We should have more people to use them. Yes, sir. You're welcome. All right, so we're done. We're done. Brothers and sisters, I thank you for taking time out to come. Let me say this. Hopefully we'll see you on Saturday. If you can, come show up, because that's going to be a great event on Saturday and Sunday. Tune into our classes. We didn't live stream tonight, but we usually live stream. We're on the radio. Download, get the free material, educate yourself. Be a part of the solution and not the problem. We thank you for coming out tonight. Make sure you support the vendors. See Brother Izzy or Brother Hasim if you want to get any tickets. We'll be here on Saturday. Doors open at 1 o'clock. And if you want to stay tuned to what's going on, go to the website governmentreparations.org. Governmentreparations.org, and we can give you more information. Thank you, brothers and sisters. We love you. Get home safe.